Welcome to the July 14th City Council meeting. Please stand for invocation by Vice Mayor Wright, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in a moment of contemplation. These are difficult times for our country, for our state, and for our community, for Lynchburg. And it will take all of us working together to find solutions to our common problems. Please grant us wisdom, the courage of our convictions, and tenacious goodwill to find common solutions for our challenges. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight's City Council agenda is divided into 3 sections: consent agenda, public comment, and general business. The first section is the consent agenda. This section includes routine items, and all items must be approved by one vote.
So moved.
All those in favor, well, I'll just take a voice vote. Councilman Feraldi.
Aye.
Councilman Wadler.
Aye.
Councilman Member Treaty.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Helgeson.
Aye.
And then Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
And I am aye. Thank you. This section is public comment. During public comments, individual speakers have 3 minutes to speak, and those representing a group have 5 minutes to speak. Typically, City Council takes comments made during the public comment section of the agenda under advisement and may refer their concerns to the city manager to follow up. First, we're going to hear from a citizen regarding a concern. It's Ms. Sandra Sosnowski. If you'll just state your name and city residence, please.
Yes, I'm Sandra Sosnowski, but I go by my middle name, Carol, so you can call me that. And I'm in the city of Lynchburg, 222 Omega Drive. So are you ready?
Yes.
I did provide my comments to you because I couldn't fit them all in 3 minutes. So I hope I can get this in. Greetings. Our Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Council, I submit to you that our governor has abridged his duty to protect the rights of the citizenry by issuing these unlawful executive orders concerning the response to COVID-19, and that the city of Lynchburg must not comply with his edicts. They must not commit any resources to enforcing these unconstitutional edicts. There are 3 reasons that we must end all COVID restrictions. They are unlawful, detrimental, and unnecessary. First, unlawful. No governing authority has the right to restrict people's movement, impose medical tyranny, or impede the people's ability to provide for their own livelihood. Our governor has issued executive orders that have not gone through the lawmaking process, nor do they comply with the highest law of the land, the U.S. Constitution. All this from panic over a virus with a 99.26 survival rate as reported by the CDC. Second, detrimental. The coronavirus response, not the virus itself, has robbed the people of their essential liberties, has devastated the economy, and attacked the very fabric of social relationships. Some effects are bringing a booming economy to a screeching halt, devastating the small business industry, magnifying our national debt, restricting the liberty of the people to gather, to conduct commerce, and to enjoy the fruits of their labor, destroyed our societal constructs, forbidding us from visiting our loved ones in hospitals, prisons, nursing homes, and group homes, covering our faces, which restricts communication and interaction, increasing domestic violence, increasing social unrest, increasing discouragement, despair, depression, and suicide, increasing the suffering for those whose medical procedures were not considered an emergency, dividing the people and their businesses along the lines of essential versus non-essential. Third, they're unnecessary. The world has been manipulated by fear into believing a false narrative about COVID-19. We submitted to lockdowns to flatten the curve, but the hospitals were not overwhelmed. Social distancing is an unproven theory devised by a 14-year-old for a school project, and masks have been proven useless and even dangerous to our health. Doctors and researchers from all over the world have discovered that this disease is not nearly as deadly as first thought and that there are effective treatments. Irrational fear has robbed us of the ability to think logically. Cases are up due to more testing, and the testing is flawed. We need to stop living in fear.
You've run out of time, but the council members will read the rest of your documentation.
Okay,
Thank
can
you
I
very
just
much.
finish the sentence?
Yes, okay.
And I appeal to the council to pass a resolution to withhold funding and resources in the city of Lynchburg for enforcement of any of Governor Northam's illegal mandates and to make them optional. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second public comment is to hear from a citizen regarding a concern, Ms. C.C. Thomas. Are you in the room? I don't think so. Okay, I guess she's not here. We'll move on to general business. This section includes general items of new business. Number one, consideration to adopt a resolution to amend the FY 2021 City, Federal, State Aid Fund budget and appropriate $215,140 with resources from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Social Services through the Employment Advancement of Temporary Assistance for Needy Family Participants. Community Wealth Building Grant, BEN 19-113, to prepare participants to enter and maintain employment with the prospect of a career path and wage growth. Staff will present a summary, and that would be Mr. John Hughes. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. As Mayor Dolan mentioned, this request is for a resolution supporting $215,142 with resources from TANF, Temporary Aid for Needy Families, submitted through Virginia DSS. Basically, this is a renewal of a grant that we've received before. This particular grant is supporting the Hire Lynchburg initiative, which you may have known previously as the Tech Hire Initiative, as well as a program for neighborhood caretakers, partnerships with local service organizations, and some of our overall poverty reduction strategy. This did go to finance. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Since this went to the Finance Committee, I'll defer to Chairman, Councilmember Helgeson, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yep, Finance Committee met on this morning, and we recommended the support of the renewal of the application and the appropriation, and I bring that forward as the motion from the Finance Committee.
Thank you. And there doesn't have to be a second because it came from the Finance Committee. Do we need to read the resolution? No. No. Okay, so I'll just take a verbal vote. Councilmember Feraldi?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilder?
Aye.
Councilmember Tweedy?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Helgeson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
Aye, and I vote aye. Thank you, the motion passes. The second item, consideration to adopt a resolution to amend the FY 2021 City, Federal, State Aid Fund budget and appropriate $119,825 with resources of $107,400 from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Social Services through the Employment Advancement of Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, Participants Community Wealth Building Grant, and $12,425 from an in-kind match with the objective of furthering local efforts to reduce the poverty rate and increase median income. Staff will present a brief summary, and that is again Mr. John Hughes.
Thank you again, Mayor Dolan. Similarly, this grant also comes from TANF federal funding. It is distributed through Virginia DSS, once again. Primarily, the use of this grant will be to support the Home Essentials Program with Parkview Community Mission, Career Essentials with Humankind, and the Workforce Investment Board, as well as a part-time workforce navigator and some other poverty reduction things that we're spelling out currently. If you have any questions, again, this did go to finance. There is a match associated with this grant that was not associated with the first one, and that is in kind, created from a calculation that's within the grantee's slide, and they do that in internal calculation. It's not 10% of the award. It is done for an internal calculation. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Since this went to Finance Committee this morning, I will defer to Chairman Councilmember Helgeson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As Mr. Hughes stated, the match, the in-kind match was already incorporated in the budget, so it's not extra funds that had to be to come up with in order to get this grant. So the Finance Committee met and support the application and the appropriation of this request, and I bring that forward as a motion.
Does not require a second, so I will take a voice vote. Councilmember Feraldi.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tweedy.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Helgeson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
And I would vote aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next item is consideration to review the proposed smart scale projects and adopt a resolution to support for the following smart scale project applications to the Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT, Candler's Mountain Road interchange with Lynchburg Expressway and the roundabout at Wards Ferry Road and CVCC Campus Drive. Staff will provide a brief summary, and Mr. Lee Newland would do that for us.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. This is a smart scale application for smart scale funding through the Virginia Department of Transportation. The two projects that we are looking to submit this year is the Candler's Mountain Road interchange and a roundabout at Wards Ferry Road and CVCC Campus Drive. And this went through PDC back in February, and it came to council in March as well for the pre-application. This is the final application where we have to have a formal resolution to be able to include it in the application. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions? No? May I have a motion then?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, I'll take a voice vote. Councilmember Feraldi. Oh, anybody want to have any discussion on this? We can talk about it. Thank you. So sorry. No discussion?
Well, again, it did come to PDC in February. And this is the second time it came to us. Is that correct?
Second time for
Yes.
council. Yes.
So again, it's going to really help the traffic flow. Two major areas, challenges we have are with a lot of accidents and things of that nature. So I am so happy that this is going to, we'll be requesting funding from Smart Scale if it gets approved. Because this is where the, if you look at the, it's not up there, but if you look at the designs, how they're coming to the expressway on 29, I guess that's correct, how they're changing the loop.
Yes, they're the loop that's coming from Candler's Mountain to southbound 29 is one of the most accident-prone locations in the city. So it will improve that loop, and it will change a couple of the others as well, yes.
So this is a major improvement for the city of Lynchburg. So I travel that road all the time, so I've seen some of the accidents there. So I'm glad they're working on that, and as well as on, I guess, by CVCC, the section there, is that the other section portion?
Yes, Wards Ferry Road and CVCC.
Wards Ferry Road, yes. So two major intersections our community that are requesting smart scale funding for. So thank you for bringing this to us again.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments?
I just have a question, because I know the 29 at the River Ridge project, Candler's Mountain Road, there's a stop that has been put there. Did we put that there, or was that a part of the potential for this project?
That was put there. Our transportation engineer, before he went out on sick leave, was one of the solutions that he thought might help there.
Are we seeing that it helps? I see people more cognizant of stopping.
I think it is helping. I don't know the numbers. I don't have the specifics. So.
I think it helps. Mm-hmm. I was glad to see that. A temporary fix.
Yeah, I just wondered if it was a part of the potential for this future project, that's all.
Not really.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'll take a voice vote. Councilmember Feraldi.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tweedy.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Helgeson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
And I am aye. Thank you. Passes. Thank you very much. The next item is consideration to adopt a resolution to amend the FY 2021 City Federal State Aid Fund budget and appropriate $1,994 with resources from the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development Virtual Training Support Grant to purchase mobile computing equipment for community development and inspections staff to use for training. Mr. Kent White will give us a brief summary.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. The credit for this opportunity comes from our building official, Doug Saunders. He saw the grant opportunity to provide us with equipment to allow for virtual training. This is consistent with our department's mission, which is to keep our inspection staff in the field for efficiency purposes. So we're really excited to have this. There's no city match required, and this went to Finance Committee earlier today.
Thank you very much. Since it went to Finance Committee, Chairman Helgeson, would you like to comment?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And which is always, as Mr. White has stated, about the training and making sure the building code officials are up to date. Glad that they're able to find this grant, and we recommended approval.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Questions, comments? I'll call for the vote. Councilmember Feraldi.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilder.
Aye.
Councilmember Tweedy.
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Councilmember Helgeson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Wright.
Aye.
And I will vote aye. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is to receive an update on the revenue collections received by several key city revenue resources, and our presentation will be Mrs. Donna Witt.
Thank you. This is our monthly revenue report on several of our larger revenues. This is everything collected through June 30th, 2020. So it's a really good report. I'm pleased. You'll see in our net real property, our revised revenue was $60,338,212, and we actually received $60,650,674, so we exceeded our revised projection by $312,462. Our net personal property was revised to $18,053,339, and we actually received almost $19.5 million, which is $1.4 million more than what we had projected. And in addition to this, you see the footnote at the bottom, we've also received $1.9 million in addition, which are prepayments for the next installment. So we accrue those forward in our financial statements and show those as collections in 2021. So this is really good news. I will tell you that in talking with the Commissioner of Revenue today, we're seeing a slowdown in the purchase of new cars, so that we think that's going to change maybe our projections for 2021, so we are watching those really closely. In our net business license tax, our revised revenue was right at $8 million, and we received $9 million. So it's $1,012,799 more than our revised projection. So we're really pleased. But you have to remember, our business license tax receipts and what they pay is based on their 2019 revenues. So 2019 was a great year. So we know that in 21, when people pay their B-poll that's on 2020 tax year, we're going to see a decrease there because there will be less revenues this year. So we're going to, we've revised that in our 21 numbers, but we'll keep a close watch on that as well. Were you going to say something? Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. Your eyes lit up, I could tell. Local sales and use tax, you'll see our collections for the month of May. So we anticipated $1,050,000 for sales, and we received $1,325,092. So we did exceed our projections by about $275,000. And a lot of this is attributable to some of our businesses getting opened back up in May and doing well. Our online collections are up. Our home improvement stores are doing well. Our grocery stores are still doing well. So, and all that is attributable to the increase that you see here. So we're pleased with that number. Our meals tax revenue, we anticipated $559,000. We actually collected $883,000. So we had $324,000 more than what we anticipated, which shows that more of our restaurants are open, more curbside service, So people are starting to get back out there. The restaurants that offered the curbside service were doing much better. And those that had a drive-through all along, those are the restaurants that really did well. They continued to do well. So we're seeing those open, and I just want a caveat to remember, even though we're exceeding our revised projections, we're still losing a lot of money. Yeah, so there's still concern there. We're still watching them really close, but we are pleased that our revised projections are holding true. For lodging tax, we only anticipated about $16,000, and we received $97,000, so that's $81,000 more, which is great to see that we did have a few more people in our hotels. We think that's going to continue to go up as long as things hold true. So we're, again, I just have to say it, we're watching these so carefully. And amusement tax, with everything shut down, we didn't anticipate any revenue, so we collected $979. So there are a couple of events that did happen in May, so we received a little bit of revenue. But all good news. We're really pleased that our projections are holding true so far. I added utility account that are subject to disconnect, because this is kind of the other side of the story. So we have not done disconnects since the A cycle of March. So you can see there's a comparison there for April, May, and June of how many accounts in 19 were actually disconnected, and then how many are subject to disconnect at this point. We are working within the SCC guidelines and not doing any disconnects through the month of August, but we are prepared to kind of slowly start those disconnects. We're encouraging people to go to nonprofits that do have some money. The money that we got in CDBG went to a couple of nonprofits that have that available for utility accounts. So we're encouraging people to get help. We're encouraging people to call us to set up a payment plan. We're going to work with people in every way we can, but so we do anticipate these disconnects will start with the September due dates. So, but just wanted you to see that we've got a lot of work to do, and that there are some hurting citizens out there, so we don't want to forget that. So, any questions?
Yeah. So on this slide right here, is this cumulative, or is this each month? So basically, so you're going April, there was 900, plus March, or excuse me, May of another 1,000?
No, it's not cumulative. It's 900. The next month it grew to 1,007, and then it grew to 1,065.
So is
but
it
you don't add them together.
So it's not a total of 3,000 that
No,
are
sir.
subject, so it is cumulative?
Yes, that's-
Okay. So it's about 3 times what it normally is?
Correct.
And when is that going to begin? You said September?
September due dates, that's correct. We're trying to encourage people to get their accounts caught up if they can, with their September due date. And if they can't, then we're going to start disconnects, but we will do it slowly and very methodically, because we can't, I mean, it's not possible, and we
so
wouldn't do that.
So on this, beginning, I believe, September, is also when that $15 a month trash fee
That's
comes
October.
on top of it, October, an extra. So if that isn't paid,
It's
the water's still.
$10. It's $10 in
$10,
October.
that's right.
Vice Mayor, right?
Oh, it's all right.
I thought you were through, I'm sorry.
I had another question earlier when she saw it on my face. So you mentioned about the real personal property, rather. I saw a report the other day that there was like a huge increase in online car sales. So I don't know if that, we would still capture the property tax if they bought them and had them here, correct?
Well, and the Commissioner of Revenue gets a report from the DMV every month about how many vehicles are added for the city of Lynchburg.
Okay.
So how many vehicles are registered and the type of vehicle. So he keeps track of that, especially for the new vehicles.
And so it may have come via just the normal purchase. I mean, what was the anomaly is an online. I mean, you buy books online, you buy food online, but buying cars online was like, I saw like a 300% kind of increase, so huge anomaly. So, but we would eventually capture that once they're registered here then.
Right,
Okay.
right, if they're
Thank you.
registered. But what his numbers that he's receiving have been going down compared to last year at this time.
Do we anticipate receiving additional CARES Act money from the state as a pass-through from the federal government?
There is talk that there will be another stimulus package, but there's nothing finalized yet.
Okay. And are we using, I guess, what's making up the delta for the disconnects right now? Are we plugging that hole with CARES Act funding already received, or
No,
are we
we-
just sort of suffering the
We
deficit?
can't use CARES Act money to replace revenues. So these are your water, sewer, stormwater accounts that are down a couple of $100,000. So Water Resources is just managing that at this point.
And we're hoping that people will be able to get on the payment plan and make it up
Yes,
in time.
yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Just to further on that, do we have, like, if they're late, and if there is a payment plan, I'm assuming there is some kind of, like, interest charge or?
Well, currently, we're not charging penalties if you're not making your payments, but that will start again once we start the disconnects.
And so that would start in September?
Yeah, that would start in September as well.
Thanks for the information, really appreciate it. I did notice on one of my family's properties we were closing out, that they got like a special letter, I believe, if you were delinquent in the water property, I think. We had up my sister's property, and we got a notice about, that, I guess, just advising about the situations in nature. So I thank you, appreciate that for sending that to our citizens about that, but I had really cut her water off, so I guess I need to work on that again and make sure it's cut off, because we haven't been in it since November. Secondly, I know we're bringing some information back to us, I think, to revisit the budget in October. I know we're getting monthly updates. So in October, will we revisit our budget to see how things are, to see if we can make any adjustments to some of the areas we kind of put on hold? Is that what the plan is?
That is the plan. You have to remember, it's July, and we're just receiving May revenue numbers. So for the
October.
sales, meals, lodging, and amusement.
Yeah.
So it takes us a little while because of how those are collected.
Yes.
So in October, we'll start looking at our 2021 numbers. So, yeah, we would definitely revisit the budget.
So by October, we have a better picture of the ending of the fiscal year?
Yes.
Because of the stronger numbers, and we
Yes.
kind of go from there.
Yes,
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Ms. Witt. Good report. Next, consideration of a closed meeting for discussion and consideration of prospective candidates for the position of city manager and to evaluate the performance of the clerk council pursuant to section 2.3-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia. May I have a motion to go into closed meeting? Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You made the motion, and Councilmember Feraldi. Okay, thank you very much. And may I take a vote on that? Councilmember Feraldi?
Aye.
Councilmember Wilder?
Aye.
Councilmember Tweedy?
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson?
Aye.
Councilmember Helgeson? And Vice Mayor Wright?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So we are now in closed session.